Can I get a large ice cap? Good morning, I'm 90 and this is ZXC. Before we get going here, I'd like to say that we are almost at 60 subscribers. I know it's a small number, but that's pretty sweet, to be honest with you. I didn't think I would get anywhere in life, but I'm glad that people like my content enough to see it. I do plan on improving the quality of these videos. I can't make any promises, but that's something I strive. Better camera angles, better explaining, etc. That being said, let's get into the shop and work on some cab overs. Last episode, I'd like to explain this a bit more. For the 110 power, I had whatever left on my cable and I put an end on it and hooked it up in there too and ran it under the floor and under the floor and up there. Now that we're in the truck, I made this with particle board since it is a flat surface. It's easy to work with, and I just wrapped it with a flat black wrap. For this one, I don't think I got too much of it on camera, but this is actually plexiglass because I want to get a bend in here but still be strong enough for the plugs. This isn't my first attempt because plexiglass doesn't like shock, I guess, and you can like crack it really easily when drilling the holes. But I do like it because it's a sturdy surface and I was able to heat bend this edge here. So I cut it out to match the plastic ring, and then I wrapped that with that silver that I've wrapped on these guys here in a previous episode. So when it's all done, it should match the old kind of style that was on the dash when I get fixed. First task of the day is to deal with these front speakers. I'll show you here. Ford decided to put oblong holes for the speaker mounts, so only 2 of them work, and it's these 2 right there. The other 2 I'll probably have to drill out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out these studs for this one, and I'm going to drill out 4 holes. Back speakers, and they are from the outside. For some reason the front speakers aren't the same, so I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue, and it gets rid of these rusty studs anyways. So I pulled one of these out with some heat, and it's just a bolt, it seems like. So I'm going to do the same for the other one here. It's going to crack it a little bit, but I'm going to drill through it anyways, so it's no biggie. So we have heat. And we'll put some heat just on the end of the bolt. It's going to melt the plastic a little bit, but it's going to soften the plastic so we can pull it out. Try that. Just like that, we got that out. Kind of push it back together. There we go. Ta-da! So I got some mounting hardware here. Just black screws. You have to make sure the hole fits these screws as they go through. Oh, open our handy dandy drill kit. And this is how I figure out which hole I need. That one right there. So before it's painted, this is what it's going to look like. Should be good enough. I don't like the clips that they gave me, because as soon as I squish them down, they break. Unless I'm not supposed to use them that way, but that's the way I'm going to use them. But yeah, should look not too bad, because this is going to be black. Okay. I'm usually pretty bad at explaining things. That's why most of the videos are silent, or I just cut my voice out, because I kind of cringe at my own thing. But I'm going to try to explain what's going on in my little head here. So plastic parts, the prep one, we use Sandfix and gray Scotch pad. We use gray because we don't want to make scratch marks, and Sandfix is like a prepper. This isn't actually Sandfix, this is something else, but same idea. Cleans and absorbs and improves adhesion, because we don't want the paint to come off this even if we scratch it or whatever. So just a little dab on here. And then we'll go around the whole part, we'll clean it off and see if there's any smooth spots, and we'll keep going at it. The paint booth is full right now. Start with some advanced bond here for the plastic. Just like that. I'll be back with some paint once it's tacked up. And we're back. So the paint we got is Landu Black. Fun fact about this paint is that you can't get quarts or jugs of it. You have to get an aerosol because it's illegal to cross the border into Canada for some odd reason. So it'd be cool to get a jug and then I can just put it in a gun, but this is how we're doing it today. So first coat. Ta-da! Round 3. I might give up on these because they're not turning out the way I want them to. You can especially see it on that guy right there. A little bit there, a little bit there. While I let those parts dry and rethink my life here, I just want to show off some amazingness. So I might have said this before, but this truck, I had to replace the air compressor because they actually blew the rods out of the side. The old air compressor had belts on this side too that fit onto this guy. I had to turn this guy around and make an adapter right there, so it would go onto these guys. About 5 or 6 years ago, me was like, yeah, I can do this. I just throw on a different air compressor. Does the same CFM, but now it only does one side. It's all good because the belts wear on that piece right there. There's a piece of metal wire holding that, and then I have copper going all the way through it, really badly bent up. We have shark bite fittings instead of doing it properly. This thing is pretty special. I decided to die on a hill. We're just gonna keep painting until it becomes black. Light coats. Try to avoid the big bubbles so it doesn't have the opportunity to break away from the fish eyes. What it comes down to is the prep work. I was too quick on prepping. I should have dulled it more, because when you do the sand fix, you want to dull out the plastic and have no shiny spots, because that's where you can have different greases and stuff just build in over the years from people touching it, cleaning it with stuff, etc. So that's what it comes down to these parts. All the other parts did actually pretty good. These ones turning out to be garbage. 5 coats later, I was able to cover up my mistakes with a little run there, but it actually sprayed out pretty well after giving me a heart attack. Not really, but so panels are good. Another mistake, well, it's not mine, there's a bug that got in right there. I kind of scraped them out, but hey, that's what you get for painting outside in the world. So yeah, those are done. I'll let those dry inside the shop now, and we'll get on to task number 2. Task number 2 today. My father was nice enough to paint my brackets over the week for me, so I can put the mirrors back together and put them on the truck. Okay, first mirror done. I was fiddling with this guy. Didn't know what to do for a bit, but it'll be fine. I'll get the other mirror done and then we'll put them in the truck. And the truck will have mirrors. I have put some 3M on the back side of these so it doesn't rub on the paint of the truck. Just like that. I'm back with some nuts. Look at that. Okay. Show you what I did up here. The screws were a little long, so with the nuts, I ended up just cutting them off after putting them in. And then, there, we got some nice black screws. They go with our nice black mirrors. And I'll do the other side, and then I'll run the wire for the heater. So I got the heated mirrors all wired up back and using the original plugs. What I'm doing now is that little side like vent window. I'll show you here. I was putting the door back together and I noticed the window doesn't close, and then two of these gears were rounded off in the cog for opening and closing the window. So what I'm going to do is I took a file, grinded them out a bit, and then I'm going to take a welder and try to get the gears back up and then file them back down and see if that will work. It's not freaking steel. That was a yucky yuck. What now, homies? Oh, it's on the very end. Oh my gosh. So, this is what it does on the inside there. Focus. It binds up. So, it spins. What I might do, since I just cleaned it up, see if I can find a washer that would fit that. But it seems like what it needs is it's missing the whole bottom end. It's like it fell out or something. So I'll see what I have for a washer that will align that in the center. Oh, what I did is I found a washer that's pretty close, and then I pushed the gear towards that, so I offset another washer inside to push the gear in towards like that. And it holds it tight against that one wall, and then it spins. I just have to figure out a way to get this washer to stay in there because it goes in upside down. And once that starts turning, it's going to fall out. Trying to get a view for you guys to see what I'm doing because I know being low sucks. Anyways, we're gonna get this back in here. I got some red Loctite. Throw this in the vise for now. So the idea is to have it be pushed. So this goes up and in like that. In there's a little rod, and then this keys in with that rod, and that's what it turns to get the thing to go in. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just pushing it up into the rod. The window, but it works again. It doesn't slip. Panels in, clean up time, and go home time. I guess I could technically put this back on. I might give it a little cleanup first though, and then it's home time. A part of me wants to dye this black, but since it's like a soft vinyl and my arm's going to be on it anyways, it would just be a waste of time basically. So we're going to put this on here. Okay, for a recap, we got the mirrors in. This one looks pretty good. I noticed the other side though. That mirror has an offset bolt in it, so it actually sits lower. What I might do is I might switch the mirrors since this is a center mount mirror. Even though it looks kind of cool with all that together, I might switch it to that side so it raises it up a little bit, or I could probably just turn that one in the end. It just makes the truck a little bit wider. I ended up getting this panel on here. There you go. Still a little bit dirty. Got the handle on here too. And then I took the time to fix the side window. And over here I have the panels I prepped and painted. And the fish eyes were scaring me a little bit, but that just comes down to I should have prepped them a little bit more than what I did. But they actually turned out pretty good. I am happy with that. The back sides I don't really care about too much. That's why that's a little bit gray still. So in theory, next week I should be able to hook up the stereo. What I want to do is get this door panel back on, find all the parts for the door panel behind me, and rebuild the electric motor for the window. The funny thing is about these trucks, they just use the manual window roller, and then they put a gear on the electric motor and they run it that way. So it kind of like bulges out of the door panel to hold the electric motor. That's kind of funny. So next week I'll rebuild that, and hopefully I can get the stereo in. I still have to put up one more panel here. Like I said, I'm still waiting on buttons. I might just give up on life about that and deal with that later. But yeah, we're one step closer to the interior. I still have to do the gear shift, but we're basically closed in now. The windows hold themselves up, and I still have to put the handles back on here, but there's a cover here that I'm going to put on. Oh, one more thing. Right here we have the lower door panels. They are wrapped like this, but what I might do is I might just clean them up and paint them black, because they're the same texture as that. And it's not too bad. Like, this one is going to have a cover over top of this, but this bottom one I might just leave black metal, so I won't have to wrap them, and it'll look nice and sleek that way. There you go. Mirror's kind of dirty. Truck will need a wash when it's all put back together, but we're one step closer to finishing this up. Interior is pretty close to being done. That makes me super excited. Anyways, if you like this video, thank you. If you enjoyed it, I appreciate the view, and I hope you have a good night. I'll see you another time. You know, with my hitch being all cracky cracks, it really puts a damper in my pamper when I drive this. It doesn't make me happy because I just want to tow things.